Hey everybody, Jay Super Awesome here. I'd like to welcome you all to week number 49 of the TheHORRORman's SlashBack Saturday Challenge. This week's slasher movie theme is slasher movies released in the 2000s, and I will be giving my review for Miner's Massacre, released in 2002, also known as The Curse of the 49er. Okay, so getting into the plot for this one. Gold miners' slaughter. When a group of friends find a stash of gold hidden in an old mine, they think they've struck it rich. As they unearth the gold, they resurrect the curse of the 49er, a murderous miner who's determined to protect his claim. He's on a deadly rampage, but this time, with a pickaxe in hand, he's prospecting for blood. They asked for it. Okay, so getting into my thoughts for this one. With this week's SlashBack Challenge theme of slasher movies released in the 2000s, I chose to review Miner's Massacre basically because I knew at some point we were getting this theme, and Miner's Massacre is the movie that I specifically had set aside for this theme, and that's pretty much because I feel like Miner's Massacre is a perfect representation of B-movie style slasher films that was released in this time period. And when I think about horror movies that were being released in this time period, there's no denying, for better or worse, remakes were extremely popular during this time period. But over time, I have grown to love and appreciate the B-movie style slasher films that were being released. I really enjoy collecting them, and I think for the most part, they seem to be overlooked or just underappreciated. So I really enjoy talking about them, and that is the reason why I have reviewed a lot of them for the SlashBack Saturday Challenge. And I do have to say that I absolutely love this movie. I have fun with it each and every time that I watch it. But with that being said, I do have to admit that I have a few issues with it, and honestly speaking, this is a pretty standard slasher film. And you can draw some strong comparisons between this movie and Leprechaun, and it's basically because the miner in this movie comes back for revenge for anyone who takes his gold or comes in contact with his gold. So it's a very similar setup to Leprechaun, but I don't really knock this movie for it, because what else would a cursed miner come back for revenge for other than his gold? So I really do enjoy this movie's storyline for what it is. It's very familiar, it's very simplistic, but it's a lot of fun. And even though this is a standard style slasher film, I feel like it was executed perfectly, and a lot of that has to do with its director, John Carl Buechler, who passed away earlier this year. May he rest in peace. He definitely knew horror very well. He directed a segment in The Dungeon Master. He also directed Trolls. He directed Cellar Dweller. And he was also the director of Friday the 13th, Part 7, A New Blood. So he definitely knows how to direct slasher movies. And I feel like he got the most out of what he had to work with on this film. And I really enjoy it. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the cast of characters we have in Miner's Massacre. So basically the main characters within the storyline are three couples who go to a cabin out in the woods. They intend on searching for gold, and just like anybody would who's looking for gold, each person intends to better their situation, so each person has their own agenda. But before reaching the cabin, they also stop at a ghost town. It used to be a mining community, so it's a really cool scene within the movie. The gold is brought to their attention by one of the characters' brother. The movie opens up with him. He has found the miner's gold. He is looking over his find. We do discover that he has sent his sister a sample piece of the gold. Ultimately, this has disturbed the miner, and he is resurrected, and he is out for revenge. I also wanted to mention that there are several familiar faces within this movie a lot of horror movie fans may recognize, such as Carrie Bradac, John Phillip Law, Richard Lynch, Vernon Wells, and Martin Kove. And Martin Kove was most known for The Karate Kid, but he has appeared in several horror movies and several science fiction type horror movies. Overall, I thought the dialogue and the acting was pretty good in this movie, and for the most part, I enjoyed all the characters. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the most important part of a slasher movie, that is the killer and the kills. And I absolutely love the killer in this movie. The Miner is a really awesome villain. Karen Black's character gives us some backstory to Jeremiah Stone, what he was like when he was human. He was cruel and he was rotten, and before he dies, he puts a curse on the town. So that's why the town ends up becoming a ghost town. It makes him a legend, and of course, anybody who messes with his gold will suffer the consequences. One thing that's really cool about the Miner is that he uses a pretty wide variety of weapons to murder his victims with. But of course, his favorite is his trusty pickaxe. There's one really cool scene in the movie to where he gets his arm chopped off, and it doesn't slow him down a bit. He simply breaks the handle off his pickaxe, jabs it into his bloody stump, problem solved. So that was a really cool scene in the movie. And as far as the kills go within this movie, we are treated to a pretty wide variety of kills. It has a pretty decent body count, and there's quite a bit of blood. One kill in particular has a victim dying by the pickaxe. The blood is flowing from the wound into a bucket below them, and as the bucket begins to fill with blood, the image dissolves to look like the moon in the sky. So it was a really cool scene, and it was really neat how it was shot and filmed. So overall, I really enjoy this movie. It's a very fun and entertaining slasher film. I recommend it for anybody who loves slasher movies. Even if you are a fan of 80s style slasher films, I still feel like you should give this one a try. I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10. Please like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know if you have seen Miner's Massacre, or just let me know what you think about my review. And I would like to thank you all for watching.